Hello, it is Mainly X1 for YouTube, and in this video I am going to talk about 6 things that I would like to see in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Of course, if there is going to be a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, that is. Now before I get started, there is something I want to mention. I was intending to do a video about the lack of regards that the current gen consoles were gaining. Well, at least for the PlayStation 3, because that's currently what I'm playing on. It seemed as though they were no longer doing updates. They were no longer adding more content to the PlayStation Store, and there were still games that had bugs that needed patches and fixes, and it seemed like they were ignoring those as well. This had me thinking, is this what they're going to do to current gen now? By no longer supporting it with features and details that we should have, just to pressure every gamer to spend a huge chunk of their money for next gen? Really? Yeah, just make it as irrelevant as you can for players to play online on the current gen consoles. That'll increase your next gen sales. But it seems I was wrong. They are still doing updates, they are still adding new features, and they have done some recent patches on some of the games on current gen. If anything, they are a lot slower about it, which drives me into thinking that I might be speaking a little too soon about saying I was wrong. But we'll see. Now with all of that said, it's time to get started on the 6 things that I would like to see in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, if there is going to be a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I'm a very big Dragon Ball Z fan, so this is something that I'm hoping for, and let's get started. The first thing I want to see is that players are able to host their own lobby so they can invite their friends or anyone that they have good connections to. As of right now, you only have the 2 options to join a single lobby, which you are alone in, or a multi-lobby that puts you in with random players. I really don't think the term multi-lobby is very specific at all. I've always seen the same players going in and out, which indicates that this is the only existing lobbies that all players can join each other in. Not too long ago, someone has hacked the multi-lobby in a way that players' progress would not load into the leaderboards, and then players was constantly getting booted off the session back into the main menu. I found that very annoying by far. I truly believe that it was a hack, because when the game was still fresh, the servers were so bad that it even booted you out of the single lobby, which did not happen in this case. Plus I kept seeing this weird code. From that point on, all I was wishing is that we could host our own lobby specified for those who we can invite or let in. So if we're talking about hosting our own lobbies, it might be a good idea. When we want to join other players online, there should be a good number of selections of lobbies that we can choose to join. The next thing I want to see kind of goes along with being able to host our own lobbies, in a way. I think we should be able to type freely and not only use these default phrases that the game has already set up for us in this chat box. Some would say that the chat box is linked to those we wouldn't be able to understand anyway if we type freely. Players can be from different countries and different regions, but this is the part that involves us being able to host our own lobbies. We could just host our own lobbies that are specific for certain countries like the US, so we wouldn't have to worry about trying to understand players that isn't currently from the same country that we are. We gotta speak up, you know? The next thing is we should be able to see the outfits that we are going to buy. No excuses, no second thoughts, and I did not need to write a script for this one. Okay, here we go. Most of the voices that you can choose for your female characters are these annoyingly high squeaky sounds. I mean, I just can't see my character screaming out attacks all the time with this voice.
Big Bang, attack! Times 10! Kamehameha! Kamehameha! Times 100! Big Bang! Kamehameha! Ha! Kamehameha!
Now, I was never into rubber duckies when I was little, but if they decide to leave these voices in, That's okay. Okay, it's not okay. I only found one voice that I like in the female character voices. A voice that sounds more like a woman than any of them. And it's the only voice that I use for all of my female characters no matter what. Believe me, I've done some tests to be absolutely sure.
Okay, here I go. Right and right, left and left. Spin and turn and a great big smile.
Next.
Right and right, left and left. Spin and turn and a great big smile.
Next.
Right and right, left and left, spin and turn and a great big smile.
Next. Whoa, chill.
Right and right, left and left. Spin and turn and a great big smile.
Next.
Right and right, left and left.
Next.
Right and right, left and
Next.
Okay, here I go. Right and right, left and left, spin and turn and a great big smile.
Celebrity. Bringing in new voices for the female custom characters would be too much to ask for, I'm sure of it. So I would suggest a feature that we can toggle to change how high and low of the pitch and tone for each voice we choose. Just like in The Sims, or Soul Calibur. That would be helpful. Okay, I decided not to do any writing on this one because these three things that I have left aren't that major. Some of you might not even care about any of these things. But one thing's for sure is how we collect Dragon Balls. Does it really have to be through other time patrollers? I mean, why can't we just do it the normal way, in the way that is seen in the anime? Like, you go around areas, different areas, with a Dragon Radar. You use the Dragon Radar to locate those Dragon Balls that may be in the area. And, you know, if you want to make the time patrollers just as useful for getting Dragon Balls, then let the time patrollers hold the Dragon Radars. That'd be a good idea. But I don't think that's something that anyone would like to see. I mean, if you agree with me, then please leave it in the comments below. Another thing is, since we get to create up to 8 time patrollers after we completed the game, well, I kind of expected that, you know, that our time patrollers, God, nuts. What in the world? Yeah, that's PlayStation 3 for me. But anyway, I kind of expected that I would be able to get my time patrollers in the game, all of them, so they can interact with each other. So that's another unimportant thing, you know, that was on my mind. You know, having all my time patrollers in Toki City so they can interact with each other. And then the third and final thing, if we still are able to choose, you know, the Saiyan race for our created characters, how about we can finally reach higher levels of the Super Saiyan? You know, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan God. How about our custom characters reach that final level? Reach those new levels. So, right now I'm kind of bummed out that my PlayStation Network went down. But yeah, that's what I like to see. And there are some questions involving that, like, if Saiyans are able, like, if custom Saiyans are able to achieve Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, how would that balance out when you have to choose between Earthlings, Namekians, aliens, or, you know, any of those? Like, the Saiyans would be way too OP if that was the case. So those are my 3 things that I don't even know that I should say that I would like to see those things. Well, for the Dragon Balls, yes, and for the interacting custom time patrollers. But for the higher level of Saiyans, Super Saiyans, I'm not sure if I want to see that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And once again, I'm Millie X1, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, here I go. Boom pada pada, boom pop pop. Raise the K, respect the beat.
Dude, you're already a celebrity.